What's up, guys? Today what I have for you then is another episode of Destiny 2 Mythbusters. Haven't done one of these in quite a while, been quite busy with stuff, etc, and I've actually been quite ill. Sorry about that, chats, but now I actually finally got around to doing it on New Year's night. I'm spending my New Year's night doing Mythbusters for you guys, but in all seriousness, I don't really care about like New Year, going into the New Year. It's not really that crazy for me, if that makes any sense. Like, everyone celebrates it with fireworks and stuff. I'm not really into all that kind of stuff. But you know, this video ain't about New Year's. It's about Mythbusters. Let's talk about that. So the first one is coming in from Lander. Not really a myth, but using Rally Barricade and Prometheus lens, how big can the damaging heat field get? So as we know, with the Prometheus lens, if you shoot it, it brings that big circle of a, as he calls it, a heat field. He wants to know how big that heat field can get. So I actually did test this and I did get a result. Let's show what we got. So as you can see from that little bit of gameplay there, it actually gets to a certain point, then it will not expand anymore. It got to a certain point, then I kept firing. I'm pretty sure I crouched again and kept firing. It just wouldn't go any bigger, but it does go bigger than if you was just to fire it normally. So in terms of myth, yes, it did work. If you could word that better, if that makes any sense, because a lot of people say that people ask questions in the comment section below with myths and stuff and they don't really comment a myth. I guess the way you could probably word that is myth. Using Rally Barricade with Prometheus lens, you will make the heat field get even bigger. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, a lot of people, I don't know, me personally, it's not a problem to me, but a lot of people in the comment section do complain that people don't actually comment myths and they comment questions and stuff. But to me, it's not really a problem. But nevertheless, let's move on to the next one, which is coming in from Not Your Average Joe Is Not Average. Now, I recognize this name. I'm pretty sure Not Your Average Joe Is Not Average has actually been in Mythbusters quite a few times. So I guess they just keep coming in with beast comments. Myth. Using the floor is lava tech in the tower. When you die in the tower as a warlock with the stag, will a rift spawn? So as you know, with the stag in Destiny 2, once you do actually die, a rift of sort, which one you're loading, either a healing rift or an empowering rift, will spawn on the floor. And he wants to know, if it does spawn while doing that in the tower, will it affect other players? And again, I have tested this one in the tower. I've got a surprising result, so let's show it. As you can see from that gameplay, it actually does work. Like, what? I did not expect that to work. A lot of people actually commented saying, no, it doesn't work, it doesn't spawn a rift, etc. But it actually does work. I guess the people that actually tried it maybe jumped off the map to do it. And of course, when you die, maybe, I don't know how they didn't get it to work. It worked for me straight away. I showed players getting affected by it. I actually got affected by it once. I don't know how I did it, but I actually saw in the gameplay. I think I got it on record. I actually died, respawned. I had enough time to actually stand in it for a little bit, whereas other times I couldn't get to do that. But yes, it does actually work. So very, very surprised by that one there. Very, very surprised. Moving on to the next one from Adrian Avina. This myth can probably be answered with a yes or a no, but here it is. Myth. Are Titan Barricades elemental? Now, of course, with elemental damages in Destiny 2, for those of you that probably do know, but maybe for those of you that don't know, if you actually match shielding damage with an enemy, so say if you have a fallen captain, for instance, they generally have an arc shield. If you use an arc weapon to deplete that shield, they will actually cause a elemental explosion on the enemy and cause even more damage. That's if you match the element. Now, with this, they want to know, if I put a barricade down and put an enemy that has an arc shield into the barricade, will it cause that elemental explosion to actually go off once they're actually damaged by the barricade? Now it actually took quite a while to get this one recorded. Of course, with gameplay it seems like it gets recorded in 30 seconds, but I had to try this on many different captains because the enemies that were around and stuff, it took quite a while to record, but I eventually got it done, and this is the gameplay that I managed to get. So as you can see from there, unfortunately, it does not work. You know, it's not really that great anyway. It was doing minimal damage to a red bar captain anyway. I actually had to damage their shields plenty of times before I actually even spawned in the the barricade on top of them, because, you know, the barricade does minimal damage anyway, so it's not really a problem that it doesn't work. But yeah, the barricade, I guess, don't have an elemental thing to them, even though they are under a arc subclass. Maybe it's just the super and the grenades that actually give you a elemental damage type thing. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, myth busted, I guess you could say. It does not work for that. Move on to the next one then, which is coming in from Parsnips16 Gaming. Myth: on the Mercury public event, can a Night Stalker with Mobius Quiver float on top of the island you get launched to by spamming super and trigger the heroic modifier without shooting all of the prisms? So as we know with the public event on Mercury, all you have to do to make it heroic is start it, then when you fly over and you actually kill an enemy, these orbs spawn, slam the orb in, then go to the back, and then there'll be these platforms that you jump on and shoot these prisms, and you get to the top, you actually stand on a circle that rises and it says join heroic event. Pretty sure a lot of people know how to do it. If you don't, plenty of tutorials on YouTube out there anyway. But then, if I'm actually got shot over to that island, can I use Mobius Quiver while at the highest point in the air and actually constantly spam my super to try and get me on the platform? Because with Mobius Quiver, when you actually spam your super in the air, it launches you forward bit by bit. But this is the gameplay I get, and I'll talk to you about it after. As you can see from that gameplay, me personally, I couldn't get it to work. Both times I tried spamming it at the highest point in midair, and it always seemed to just make me go down into that little portal at the bottom, and then eventually, I think on the second try, I actually fell into a hole. And they both were pretty much the exact same type of way that it happened. I guess that makes any sense to you. But if someone actually has done this, please let me know on Twitter or whatever. For now, I'm going to call this myth, I don't know, busted / unanswered, because I couldn't get it to work. It was quite difficult, and every time I tried it, it actually got to a point where it would start making me go down. Maybe someone has actually managed to get that high and done it before. Who knows? If you have, let me know, you know, show me on Twitter or whatever. That would be greatly appreciated. But in terms of my testing, I'm going to call it myth, busted / unanswered. Don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. Moving on to the next one then, and the last and final one is from Ezra Brody. And I want to say myth: what happens when you kill the Shrieker in Sabbath's Pardon My Spelling song before it reaches the back plate? Now, I didn't think this was possible. You know, I thought, okay, Sabbathun, you know, the way it works, you can do so much damage, and the shield's just going to close. It's going to close. You're not going to be quick enough. But a person along the lines of Ouch MS has actually uploaded a video called Beating Strike Bosses and Raid Encounters in One Phase / One Teleport. I couldn't actually get this to work. It was very late, and I couldn't actually, I don't even think I have a fire team capable of doing this, because when I've done strikes for my fire team before, we never ever one phase a boss. So the gameplay I would have got would have been quite embarrassing anyway. But I'm going to let the gameplay of Ouch MS do the talking in the link in the description below, because of course I can't show it because I currently don't have their permission to actually show it on the channel. So I'm going to actually link the video in the description below. And if it's not in the description, I'll put a screenshot of the video on screen right now, because sometimes I tend to change my descriptions and stuff, and I do it like mass video description chain. So basically, if you do YouTube, and many of you may or may not know, in your video manager, you can actually change the description of every single one of your videos at once if you want to have a certain template, etc., for your description. Sometimes I do that, you know, sometimes I just change things up. So if it's not in the description for whatever reason, there is a screenshot that was on screen that will actually show you the channel name and stuff. Or maybe you can search exactly what the title says and it will show up there anyway. And of course, that's if it's not in the description, but for now it should be in the description. And if not, you could just search for it anyway. And they actually, well, to answer the myth, they actually did beat Sabbath in one phase, and many other bosses as well. The video is worth a watch. Definitely go watch that in the description below. And I guess a big shout out to Ouch for actually doing this and managed to get a Beast Fire team to actually do it. And yeah, that's the Destiny 2 Mythbusters episode done for this week. So I hope you have enjoyed. Like I said at the very start, we haven't done one in quite a while. I'm sorry for that. I've been quite ill. Been doing a ton of stuff, you know, doctor's appointments and stuff. I don't know if you guys know, but a while ago I actually uploaded a video about me like almost feeling like I was going to die with really, really bad stomach pain that actually made the paramedics come around my house and stuff. I'm doing better since then, but every day since that day, my stomach has never ever been the same. I get this constant burning feeling in my stomach if my stomach does not have food in it. It's honestly really painful. Some days I don't even want to get out of bed. I've got an appointment at the hospital on in February. I'm going to see a GI specialist, so hopefully that answers all my questions. I can get better from then, but for now I'm just using for those of you that may know, the medicine called Gaviscon to actually feel better. But nevertheless, I'm going to stop talking about all of that. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Destiny 2 Mythbusters. If you have, be sure to leave a like. That would be greatly appreciated. You guys always smash it on these videos. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Comment down below your myths for the next week's episode of Destiny 2 Mythbusters. And I should be able to bring back other game Mythbusters as well very soon here on the channel. I know I started doing Call of Duty Mythbusters and Overwatch and kind of just stopped them for a bit, but they should be coming back very, very soon. And maybe I'll start Fortnite Mythbusters. Who knows? See you later, everyone.